Day Naataanii 2012 will be Thursday, April 19th through Sunday, April 22nd. Proceeds to Bennett Freeze area. The Bennett Freeze area, a product of a long-standing Indian land dispute aggravated by the federal government's delineation of Navajo and Hopi Indian reservation boundaries. This is going on as we speak, and this is impeding some progress on this area, is how I'm understanding some of this. Gary Christmas, how many times have you heard, I won't go, no. Kimberlee Schultz and Robb Redsteer, thank you so much for being with us. Let's bring people up to date. This is impeding what in this area?
Well, for many years, you know, they were unable to improve their home in any way. So you can imagine if your roof caved in and you had to leave it for 50 years, what would that do to your house?
Now, they weren't able to do that because of the
because of the law itself.
Okay.
The law, the Bennett Freeze, was put in place in about 1966, and it basically said to all the Navajo and all the Hopi, you cannot improve your property, you cannot develop, you cannot put wells, you can't dig a latrine, you can't get electricity or running water. So it's a ridiculous sort of poverty that we are focused on and making some progress toward correcting. Can you give us a picture or some statistics on how that changed? I mean, obviously we know how it changed, but specifically from the time that the law was put in to the 50 or so years later. I think Rob would probably have a better idea on statistics. Dwindled, or
in terms of statistics?
Well, I mean, has the population dwindled in that area?
Tremendously,
I mean,
yes.
People have to go.
Yeah, 1966. There was no infrastructure development, and so the younger people moved off the reservation into the cities, and from there the elderly population stayed, and right now there's 8 impacted communities on the reservation, and it's all Navajo. The Hopis aren't in this Bennett Freeze situation, but because of this construction freeze, it affected families, it tore down society as we knew it back then, and as a result of that, we're also getting transient populations coming back from the cities. The kids going into the cities aren't prepared, and so they come back.
So they're remigrating back to you. Are you a member of the Hopi or Navajo?
I'm Navajo.
Navajo.
Yeah.
Kimberlee, you are a children's author.
Yes.
Now, how does this tie? Give us the connection here.
It's all about empowerment, and this particular book, To Be Thankful, is about philanthropy and teaching children how to help children. And through this book, we are, it's an ongoing fundraising tool. So people can go to the website, click on the book, and 100% of the proceeds are going to go towards Naataanii rebuilding and all the future that we have for looking forward to rebuilding the homes.
This is put in place because of the government is speaking to this and putting down guidelines. Am I correct there?
Well, the law is no longer in effect, thank God. In 2009, the Obama administration repealed the law. So that allowed construction to take place, and there was federal money set aside for the rebuilding of this Bennett Freeze area. However, the monies weren't being spent. We felt, so we did our event last year, Earth Day Naataanii 2011, and we were able to see some great results working with the local governments and also the Navajo Nation government. What literally goes on at the Earth Day celebration? Do people come out? Do they celebrate, dance? It's pretty amazing. This year, on Thursday, we have a powwow, an all-nation powwow. All nations are one, all tribes are one tribe, and we really try to get that sort of thinking into play. We're all on one little rock floating around the sun, you know, so we try to, so this all-nation powwow will have several hundred people out there on Thursday. Friday, we have the Vice President of the Navajo Nation speaking at our opening ceremony, and he's also going to be cutting the ribbon and planting the first tree for our new initiative called 1,000 Trees for the Bennett Freeze.
Very clever.
You like that?
It's a lot like Merry Christmas.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And let's see, so Saturday, then we have a concert and basically a Sustainable Earth event where we have a Shakti Tribe, an amazing band playing, and several other performers and speakers talking about sustainable ways that we can improve our own lives as well as to help the people in the Bennett Freeze use these sustainable energies and tools to enhance their lives.
You know, you spoke about One Nation. One of you said something about One Nation situation. Would it be beneficial and maybe you do this, so correct me if I'm erroneous here. The two tribes we're talking, Hopi and Navajo, should you not blend, and would you not get more accomplished if you worked as a unit instead of two?
Yeah, that's a good question, because as a peace builder, we're breaking down these structures, and we're looking at the structural violence within our society that has set this up. It's Congress in 1966 said it's okay to penalize a group of people and to separate the Navajo and the Hopi people who traditionally have interacted. We had no problems. So the powwow, for example, is a mix of Hopi and Navajo people that we've drawn in, and that's to show the world that, you know, there is no infighting between us, traditional people, and that's going to continue on to Saturday, where we're having a Huete Sigel, that's Navajo for peace and quiet, that takes you beyond the peace stage. And we're having the Vice President, like Gary said, of the Navajo Nation coming out and talking in that regard. And we're approaching this from a peace building lens.
What would a goal be for our viewers? What would you like participation from them? Would you just want them to get awareness out? Or?
Absolutely. We want people to come out to the event. We're about an hour and 45 minutes northwest of Flagstaff, really northwest of Taulani Lake. And it's pretty easy to find on our website, earthday.naataanii.com. Very specific directions, but we're going to have kids out there flying kites and having a lot of fun, and elderly people are going to be there, you know, being able to participate, as well as young families. You know, we really have a lot to do this weekend out in Naataanii, so we'd love for people.
How did you get involved with this?
That's a great question. I'll give you the Reader's Digest version. I've been a peace activist for many years, and I believe peace is very possible. Right now, in this moment, we have an opportunity to experience peace. We each have a choice of how we choose to adapt and respond to the world. And in that process, I just thought it was ideal to do some sort of peace festival on sacred land versus the coliseums, you know, and the big event centers. There's nothing sacred about that. Connected to the Navajo through Kimberlee Schultz and former Arizona State Representative Albert Tom, and he connected us to Robb Redsteer, and actually Albert Tom is Robb's mother's brother, so it's all in the family kind of thing. But we got connected and just chose to do our first event out there and had some good results.
Kimberlee, do you not agree that maybe this is the first step to instill peace in any group of people, whatever nationality, is through children and early literature?
Absolutely. I believe if we invest in our children, empower our children with good values and knowledge and integrity, then we are building our future through that. So if we give them the tools and empower them and inspire them and encourage them in an environment where they can say, well, look, I have this little mentor here telling me, look, this is fun to do and it feels good.
And the right thing to do.
And it's the right thing to do.
I'm sure you can see some change since the law was lifted. Is it incremental change? Do you see some vast improvements?
I've seen just in our last year, you know, it was very gratifying. We did our event last year, really not having, you know, really major expectations because it's our first event and it's a very remote area out there. And so months later, about Thanksgiving of last year, we found out that Harold and Lily, our hosts that we had the event on their land, they were getting a new house. Right now, they have a new house on their land, as well as some of their neighbors. So we are seeing some incremental changes. I think the biggest thing that is happening is that the local population is finally believing in this change. They're believing in positive change, and I think that's going to really help the momentum of this positive change to continue into the future.
Is there still one challenge that you guys see in front of you as you're going forward?
Bureaucracy. You know, we have the tribal system set in place with one mindset, and we're working outside the box in terms of the 4 houses that are being built were for elderly people, and then just a couple of weeks ago, the archaeologists were out to do land surveys to clear the land for 7 more homes for younger families that are coming back to the reservation. Younger families, I mean, like 30 with children that are coming back, and then we have a biodome on site, and it's we're teaching the children with this biodome. So, for example, we have one young man, a Navajo man that's a teacher, who brings his students out and they study the biodome. They replicate it, and then he's actually brought his grandfather back also to look at this biodome. But in addition to that, we have younger people. Pam Markler, she's probably about 30. She has children. Two children, I believe, and one of them did her science project on the biodome, a greenhouse, and wrote it in Navajo.
That's nice.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, cool.
We're talking energy, food, water, homes, the necessities of life, and how to sustain all of that. Gary, thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, very much. Yes.
Interesting. Thanks for joining us.